Hold up, hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up, hey, woman.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony! What's your name? Ezekiel! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! Fuck you!
No, hold on. Let me finish my point, you jerk.
You don't call your dad a jerk.
Well, you're being a jerk.
We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right.
I have a feel we're about to be joined by Sir George. He normally comes out of the black hole. Oh, there he is. Sir George. He is
it's
back.
You play football. What's up?
Well, I just want to say,
Hey, Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I just sold Jerry a joke. Hey, Jerry. You said, well, this ain't your number one. You're number one, Jerry. Number one.
Oh, my God. We're moving on. We've killed the Cowboys. Matter of fact, get out. I'm tired of talking to you. Give me freaking JJ. Bring JJ on the show. Holy crap. Let's hear his opinion about this damn trade and why they made this decision. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not admit
of ninth in the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now. And
you know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go?
Hey, you're getting too deep into this.
Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird.
If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE all-star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. All you haters, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. Whoa. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ice. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7, and it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
Are you telling me coaches like Coach Popovich does plays in spaghetti noodles?
The thing about Coach Popovich is he actually liked to use popcorn with super glue.
Popcorn with super glue?
Yeah, he would put super glue little magnets on the bottom, and then he would arrange them on the board, and he would like color them different colors, and that would signify the opponents. And yeah.
Are those the players?
I don't want to give away any industry secrets on that particular thing, but yeah, I'm just gonna say you gotta. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying no more.
And they're playing with sticks, and they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks.
Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts. You're almost going to laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh, man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
yes, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, you should have saw his face. He did not know the Ezekiel Tony thing was in the intro. Now, I think the old man may have been offended by it, but it is a viral video to add some comedy. So, folks, I am Casey, the remix schedule. He is Eddie, the original schedule. We're gonna adjust this. Yeah, there we go. We are back for. I don't know what week we're in. I don't know what episode. We should probably know those things. But yeah, we're here to talk some sports. I stopped putting episode numbers like 6 months ago because once you go live, like we're not recording anymore and then posting, so it's a little different. But old man, you are a man of the people. Let the people know how the last week has been for you.
Oh, boring. Pretty much. It's been okay. I mean, I've been watching what's crazy because I said I would never be doing it, but I've been watching a lot of women's sports with the WNBA, which I want to talk about a little bit later. And, because I am loving me some Sophia Cunningham and some Caitlin Clark, and they're actually making some moves here. What?
I said creeper. Nah,
whatever.
I'm proud
I
of
like
you.
her game.
No,
And then
don't give me as her game. She averages 5 points a game. You're in love with her just like we all are because she is gorgeous. She's 6'2", blonde and beautiful, and she can play basketball. Like I'm not saying she's a scrub by any means.
I
Her
just want
passion is-
if I ever meet Sophia Cunningham, I just want her to kiss me on the top of my head because that's about all she could do. So that's
Yeah.
all I want if I ever meet her. So
For the folks
Sophia, if you're
watching,
listening by chance,
my dad
there
is
you go.
like
But the other
4 foot.
the other thing is the Athletes Unlimited Softball League. I always said if they had a professional women's softball league, I would watch that because to me, girls softball is a very exciting sport. They have 4 teams now, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But it gives those girls a chance to play professionally once they finish, and it's growing.
Before we get to your joke of the day, you're starting off. You mentioned softball. I've been trying to get Maddie McKee on the show, one of my former students who I had in U.S. history class. Massive, great softball player for LSU at shortstop. Prayers out to her family. I learned yesterday that their house burned down. So
That's not good.
So I shot her a message. She's big time on TikTok and all that stuff. She's one of the originals. But back in the day, I remember her asking me in class, like, Coach, you want to be in this dance? Be TikTok famous. And I was like, I ain't doing that TikTok bullshit. And I should have did it. Maybe I would have been TikTok famous by now. But so prayers and thoughts out to Maddie's family. And I hope everything was hoping everyone's okay. I don't know any details of the story, but hope everyone's okay and y'all are taken care of. So, all right. Now that I've Debbie down the show, why don't you bring us back up with this lame ass joke that you have prepared?
Wow, so I got to follow that. Someone's house burning down to try and that's really good segue, man. Good job.
Cheers.
Drink some more of that shit because that was terrible. Well, let me just say my joke. Well, I'll stay on the sad side because the guy who stole my diary went missing. So my thoughts are with his family.
I see what the joke did there. I see what that did. Yeah. Awesome.
Hey, what did the cow say to the leather chair? Hi, Mom.
I was going to say something like we're family or something like that. All right, folks. Well, we got a jam-packed show. We had so much stuff last week. We dove into some subjects we probably went a little long on. So some of them carried over this week. We took some out. Obviously, it's a new week, new drama in the sports world.
We're going to talk about it all. There's two documentaries and a podcast interview we're going to talk about. Really, I'm going to talk about them, and the old man's going to react because he doesn't like watching good television. He likes watching women's softball in the WNBA. So the two
That was extremely sexist.
it's just bad entertainment. I'm sorry. It's
It
good
is
for
good
what it is.
entertainment. If you watch the Fever, it's like why was roller derby so exciting back in the day? Because
Roller derby was never exciting.
they were getting out there, getting after it, and that's what's going on. Every time the Fever plays, it is like a WWE event.
So go watch the WWE. Like I don't want WWE with NBA and WNBA.
I don't like WWE.
So, anyways, the documentaries. There's two I want to talk about and an interview. One is I rewatched The Last Dance on the '98 Bulls, and I want to kind of give my revisionist review of that. And you've never watched it because, like I said, you don't like watching good sports television. And then there is my third favorite player of all time, whose jersey you can see on the wall behind me, Vince Carter. He has one on Amazon Prime called Vince Carter Legacy right now. It's really well done. And the question that I want to ask is his career a wasted career? That's the big question I want to ask everyone out there. We got the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. We got NFL, TJ Watt. What does that mean for the Cowboys? We got the NFL list of the top 100 players, 100 through 91. How do we rank those 10 guys? We're not saying they should be in the next group. We're going to rank those guys in that order, just those 10 guys. ESPYs were last night. Cooper Flagg did walk away with some hardware. Congratulations to him. But the real talk about
Has he ever played a game in the NBA yet?
Won it for his college year as the best college athlete of last year. That's what he won it for. Okay,
who won the women's?
Huh? I don't know. I didn't watch that.
See, we Homer alert.
I just came across the Twitter post. And that's not why I want to talk about the ESPYs, because all the posts and everyone's talking about is Shane Gillis, the host, and his jokes at the beginning. I'm going to give you my take on that because I know you didn't see that.
Yeah, I'll give you mine on that too, because that's the fact that he's getting crap about it's ridiculous.
All right. Well, we got Fox FS1. Some job openings were available. Just throwing it out there. We're going to talk about what's going on into that. NBA, we got Lillard, we got Beal, we got Coach J Kidd in the house. He is eating enchiladas at my dinner table right now. All right, so he will be on the show to talk about Cooper Flagg. Coach J Kidd is here. Then Thunder, and then, of course, Sir George at the end will be on the show briefly to finally settle, did we see him at Buckingham Palace or did we not?
I think you did.
So, and I have a feeling he may have been stalking me and Linda at some point.
I think he was. I don't know how you miss a dude with a giant hat wearing a cyclist uniform.
We'll get into that at the end of the show. So, all right, let's talk about the ESPY, since that's one of the few things you actually have an informed opinion on. You're saying he's taking crap. I don't have an issue with the jokes he made. I just didn't think they were very clever jokes. Like, I don't care about the subject area. I just didn't think they were very funny in the world of comedy. Like, I don't care about the subject on it. I love the subject area that he went after people. But I just didn't find the jokes funny in themselves. It's probably his delivery. I've never been a Shane Gillis fan, I guess. So what did you think about that?
Did anybody really know who Shane Gillis is before, except outside of a Bud Light commercial? Did anybody know?
Yes. I mean, he's got a ton of comedy specials on Netflix. I do believe he's not a small time comic. Like,
well, Here's my whole damn thing. You invite a comic, first off, a guy who's kind of famous for being a good old boy, drinking Bud Light, making stupid commercials, he's not on any real show or whatever, and you expect him to be lighted up. First off, I don't watch award shows. I just think they're goofy now. You know, the ESPYs were made just so everybody can dress up and be on the red carpet, so they have something. So ESPN has something like the other networks do, like the Grammys and the Oscars. To me, it's just a bunch of gloating over shit that shouldn't be gloated over. If they win an award in their sport, then I'm cool with that. But ESPYs is just, it's another stupid award show that everybody, here's the thing about the award shows. Every single one, Oscars, Grammys, Nickelodeon, all of them. There's always something that people are bitching about. So just stop doing them. Nobody's watching them. Nobody.
That's not going to happen. They're going to keep doing them, obviously. Not every award show is stupid. There is an award show in Dallas that nominates and awards out for podcasts. And we would like to say that one is an awesome award show. And if we're nominated, we would love to come and just sit in the crowd, or, you know.
We got more chances of winning an Emmy than we do that.
Probably. So, I don't like, he's catching crap because some people were offended. Go ahead and be offended by his jokes. That's your problem. You brought a dude in there that is known for roasting people and has kind of a sideways view of life, and like, I don't think people were fully ready for it, and that's on them. Like I said, I don't have a problem with any of the jokes he made. I just didn't think they were super clever. Like, and maybe it was the delivery of them. I was not offended by any of the jokes at all. So if you were, that's your problem. And you're right. The award shows, I haven't watched an award show in forever. Only reason I know about this part is because I saw the highlights on Twitter and TikTok. So, yeah.
My whole thing: stop inviting comedians to host things, whether it's an award show, it's a political event, or whatever, and expecting them not to say shit that they think is fun.
Well, what's fun? No, what is funny about the whole situation is he even said on one of them, like, Disney approved that. Like, so, like, the super, not to get too political, we all know Disney and ESPN, they are liberal leaning left organization, which actually will lead into one of the podcast interview I want to get into here in a little bit. But ultimately, they approved everything he wrote. So if you want to be mad at anyone, don't be mad at Shane Gillis. Be mad at Disney, or be mad at the executives at ESPN, because they hired him and they approved everything that he put out there. And I applaud Shane Gillis for taking that route, because it's time to stop. How does a generation of kids raised on South Park ever be offended by anything?
Just the whole point of comedy, most of the time it's funny because it's making fun of someone, either themselves or someone else. That's 90% of comedy. So
it's like his Caitlin Clark joke.
Just laugh at it.
Like
just
his
laugh
Caitlin
at
Clark.
it.
He's like, me and Caitlin Clark have a lot in common. We're both white, and we've nailed threes. We've nailed a bunch of threes or whatever. He's making fun of himself in the joke, and then he goes, also, Caitlin Clark, will keep beating, will work at Waffle House so she can keep, like, fist fighting black women or something of that nature. If you've seen a lot of Waffle House highlights, there are a lot of African American women fighting at Waffle House for some reason. Maybe it's something they're putting.
There's a lot of white dudes too.
Well, there's a lot of white trash.
It don't matter on the race. Waffle House has a certain clientele.
I get that. The only reason I mentioned the race part is because it was in the joke. But you're right. Waffle House does have a certain clientele, and it is.
Let's just be honest. Who goes to Waffle House late at night? People who have been drinking. that's where they go because it's mostly it don't matter who they are, what they look like. It's usually people who've been drinking, and they
That's
go to
true.
the Waffle House
All
not
right.
because they're going to get a gourmet meal, but it's the same thing as Denny's or Jack in the Box.
All right. Well, let's move off of Disney and ESPN and all that craziness. Fox, man. Fox has had a crazy ass year as a sports network, and I don't want to spend too long on this, but they just canceled 3 shows. Breakfast Ball, who I've always liked Mark Schlereth, ever since he worked at ESPN. Not a huge fan of Carton. I think he's a radio guy, and the other nerd guy he has on there who's been on First Things
I
First.
didn't even know Schlereth was still on. That tells you how much I was into it.
Well, it used to be the Carton Show, and then they rebranded it to Breakfast Ball, and now it's gone. And then the Speak Show with Joy Taylor, and she's been the center of all this. That they let her go, and she's been involved in 2 of the sexual harassment lawsuits. And you know, I never liked that with Keyshawn and Paul Pierce. It just there was no flow to it. There was nothing great about that. And the facility, I like the idea of the facility having all former players on there. I think Sam Acho is solid in a support role. Yeah, I feel like he does some good research and things of that nature. I'm not saying he's the greatest, but you know, after everything came out when Shannon Sharp left and the lawsuits and the sexual misconduct allegations and all that stuff, you know, it's a crazy network, and they're saying they're going to rebrand and put it on shows because I'll be honest, I don't want to watch Get Up or First Take in the morning on ESPN. I don't like supporting those shows. But when you don't have anything to counter it, it's kind of hard. And also when you put
You
in
don't like Get Up? I like Get Up because I like Mike Greenberg. I've liked him since the old days of Mike and Mike.
I
think
like him.
Get Up's
I
pretty
like
good.
Greenberg on Mike and Mike. I don't like the shady shit he did to Mike Golick on how he left Mike and Mike to get that show. So, matter of fact,
That
Mike
wasn't
Golick,
really. I'm not going to put that on Greenberg though. I think that was more of ESPN and you know, I
speaking
think
of
there was
Mike
more
Golick
going on
Jr.,
behind the scenes. But,
Mike Golick Jr. responded to me on LinkedIn, by the way. They're starting.
yeah, I saw it.
Oh, they're starting a podcast on the Irish. I invited him to come on the show. He did not respond to that one. So I was like,
That's
"We're
because you're a nobody.
we are
You can't be a
nobodies
nobody.
nowhere, apparently."
I've sent 5 DM messages to Jimmy Johnson, just saying, please, man, just come on, please, please.
Hey, we need to get the message format that Dustin and on the tires or on the Bearded Bros, man, because they're booking everyone. They just had the Michigan gymnast on last night. I hopped on the
Yeah,
show
no,
last
I
night.
was listening to their show. That was pretty cool.
Did you?
The
I hopped on for a little while, by the way.
I would
But
what was I going to say? You know, we need to, and if any of them are listening out there, we need to get some of your Lake Creek folks who have moved on to college. You know, there's a lot of good ladies in softball that are playing for some of the big programs now. Maybe even if you were friends with that softball coach that won those championships, something like that. Have some of them on
Coach
would be
Roach,
fun.
I'm not friends with Coach Roach. I'm
Oh.
friends with her assistant that left as the head coach down at Tidehaven now. I don't know. I was thinking about reaching out to some coaches in the area and having them on the show and stuff like that. Since I've interviewed them for the Chip Howard Sports Talk show, see if they want to come on here. But all right, let's blah 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 blah. Where do we want to go from here? Let's go NFL. That's always a good subject. Then we'll go MLB. NFL, man, TJ Watt. Did you see the contract?
3 years, 123 million.
41 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
What's that mean for the Cowboys?
I think they had to do that to keep him, and because it's Right. It's funny because everybody's talking about, oh, they got Aaron Rodgers or whatever. I'm going to keep saying it. It's not the Aaron Rodgers that played for the Green Bay Packers. It is the Aaron Rodgers that played for the New York Jets that you got. And you want to see how that goes? It's not going to be as good as they think. So to me, they had to sign Watt because after they're going to have another disappointing year, which I believe they will, because they play in the same division with some pretty good teams, that they needed to sign him because he would want out of there. And what does it mean for the Cowboys? Well, obviously, it's JJ is waiting again, costing himself money, waiting on Micah. Should get it done. Shouldn't be waiting, but he's somewhere sitting on a toilet somewhere going, I'll be there. I'm all in that toilet. I'm all in. There you go.
You just
Try
don't
to
know
get
what's
that
going on.
image out of your head.
You know what? I can't wait for Cowboys training camp to happen. That way, he says another catchphrase so we can be done with this all in line. Like I can't wait for it. Like the all in is played out. So I'm hoping Jerry comes up with something new in spring training, which starts here in a week or two. Maybe next week actually. But yeah, it's classic terrible negotiating. Wait and wait and wait and wait till these other guys sign. I mean, when you got to start signing guys to massive contracts, it's an issue. Now, something you have to give them credit for is they've drafted well, and I think 67% of their first rounders since like 2010 have been all pro players, which is by far the most in the league. So they do a great job drafting. The problem when you do it's a good problem to have, but you got to end up paying these guys. And when you start paying guys a lot of money, it's hard to build a team, get that big time free agent we've been longing for, or, have a sustained success in it. So in the league. So that's a toughie, man. And so I think an issue, um, you know, you got to re-sign Micah. He is a game wrecker, but I think if you're not going to re-sign him, you better trade him and get what you can. But I don't think they're trading.
Let's just take a look at the top 5 end rushers and what they're getting paid. First off, for a 3-year, TJ Watt just beat Myles Garrett by $1 million because Myles Garrett gets $40 million. Crosby comes in third, 35.5. Nick Bosa, 34.7. Then Josh Allen, 31. If you look at guaranteed money, it changes a little bit. Who do you think gets the most guaranteed money? Who's the dumbest team when they sign contract?
I mean, I'd say the Cowboys, but
Who?
I would normally say it's the Cowboys.
No, I'm saying who signs the
Cleveland.
most guaranteed
Cleveland.
goofy ass money contracts?
Cleveland.
Cleveland?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you. You're cutting out for some reason. But yeah, Myles Garrett gets 123 million guaranteed. Nick Bosa comes in second, 119. Then TJ Watt at 108 guaranteed, and then Crosby at 91, and then Josh Allen at 88 million. So you figure if they consider Micah being in that top 5, they're going to have to pay him between 35 million to 41 million for 3 years, and they're going to have to give him close to 100 to maybe 115 of guaranteed money. There's your contract, JJ. That is where you sit now because you're waiting and waiting.
Yeah, I mean they always wait, so nothing surprises me there ultimately. So yeah, Yeah, mistake after mistake after mistake. When it comes to contracts, great at drafting, great at bargain bin shopping, terrible at negotiating your star contracts, which ultimately either keep your team intact or gut your team. So, pretty bad
Well,
there. All right, let's stay in the
just
NFL. Let's talk about this top 100 list. All right, you got 100 through 91 was what we were going to do last week.
do you have a
And
graphic for this?
I don't, because there isn't a graphic out there that I could find.
Okay.
Unless you find one real quick.
Well, just keep going.
So at 100, it's Lad McConkey, the wide receiver from Chargers, followed by Leonard Williams, defensive end, Seahawks. 98, Aaron Jones, running back from the Vikings. 97, Drake London from Atlanta. Levante David, the veteran linebacker from Tampa Bay at 96. 95 is Josh Sweat, the outside linebacker / defensive end from Philly. Porta, tight end at 94. 93 is Creed Humphrey, the center from Kansas City. Jesse Bates the third, the free safety from Atlanta, who I thought the Cowboys should have signed last year. And 91 is Tua, quarterback from the Miami Dolphins. Do you have an issue with the order of these 10 players? Is the biggest question.
I'm looking at them now. So 100, you said, is McConkey, right?
Yes.
I'm looking at the right list. Okay. Do not have an issue with that. Williams. I mean, here you could argue for a few people, but I don't. This one isn't to the point to where someone's being snubbed from the last 10. It's not something like that. I mean, I think Levante David and maybe even Sweat should probably be higher. Just because the impact they have on games. Those would probably be the two that I would look to. What do you get with them? You don't know. Except maybe an injury, unfortunately for him. But I think Levante David and Josh Sweat are probably should be higher on this list. They didn't have great stats in 2024, but I think if you're looking at, I guess this is supposed to be the top 100 going into 2025, right?
Yes. Based off
Yeah.
of last year's, that's about the best I could do right there on short notice. Little fuzzy. I think Tua is too high. I do. I think Bates is a little high. I think Laporta, Sweat, McConkey. And I don't even. I would put Aaron Jones at 100. To me, he's not that great. So I would put probably Sweat at 91, Laporta at 92. Leave Creed Humphrey there because I think offensive linemen are undervalued. And then I would throw Leonard Williams right behind him and then McConkey and then just kind of fill it out. But overall, yeah, I mean, you're not going to get too upset about 100 through 91, right? Like you pointed out. So,
No, I don't think you're going to get upset all the way down to 50. Once you get in the higher 50s, that you can start thinking that people are being left out. But it's very subjective. And like I said, I think Levante David over his career has been a pretty amazing player. So
no doubt. I mean, I think he's a Hall of Fame linebacker. He's got championship ring that year with good old Tom Brady came to Tampa. So, but yeah. So solid list. We'll get into the 90 through 89, or I'm sorry, 99. No, I'm losing my mind. 90 through 81 next week. If I could do
I think
that.
it's I think it's time for a commercial.
Commercial break followed by our whiskey of the week. So
All
go
right.
ahead, play the commercial.
Have you heard of the DISC communication tool? Yes, most people in business have. But there is a new tool out there that is tailored for leadership teams. It is called the DISC Work of Leaders and focuses on 3 main areas: vision, alignment, and execution. This amazing assessment is not just a game changer. It is a business strategy necessity if you want to create sustainability. Let's be honest, a lot of executives spend many hours in HR dealing with people issues, and that happens because of reactive leadership. If you are sitting in HR trying to figure out what happened after the fact, then you are not able to concentrate on running your department or business, and it steals your time. Email us or call. It's free to talk about it and learn how to become proactive in your leadership. Big or small, we have a plan to build on your strengths and an action plan for your challenges. Join Eddie Schedule, our CEO and founder, for a quick video on what a report does for you. Head over to our website and scroll down to see this amazing video of the DISC Work of Leaders tool. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Well, all right. Easy Leadership. Check it out. EasyLeadership.com. Get some, it's about the middle of the year when a lot of people are sitting there and senior executives and saying, you know what? We're 6 months into this year and my staff are a bunch of idiots. So they need some training. They need some coaching. Easy Leadership is your one to call because you don't want to end up being the CEO and the chief people officer on a giant screen at a concert getting called out. Did you happen to see that?
Oh yeah, I did. So did all the nerds.
Unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
all over the internet. That's not sports, but goodness gracious. How about that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Hopefully it was not drinking the whiskey of the week. I ran up. It is frosty cold from my freezer. Elijah Craig small batch. All right. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, proof 94. Delicious stuff. So yes, that is the whiskey of the week. So shout out to Whiskey Valor, who was on the show last week, who I'm trying to be our title sponsor. So if you want to sponsor us, you know where we're at. All right.
Yeah. You need sponsors.
All right. There's 2 documentaries and a podcast interview I want to get into. And the first one is The Last Dance. Almost everyone has seen The Last Dance except the guy next to me on the screen. It is
I've seen highlights.
You don't get the full effect seeing highlights, okay?
I watched Jordan's whole career. Do I really need to see it?
This is all behind the scenes stuff. It goes in depth. It's 10 episodes, 10-hour-long episodes. So you do got to dedicate probably 2 or 3 days to it, as far as if you're not going to binge it in one day. But man, a recent vote came out that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. The GOAT list came out. LeBron's number 2 on that list. That's wrong. It's incorrect and it's stupid. That part of it. He is below Kobe. He is below Magic, and arguably below Bird.
I would
NBA.
put him below Shaq.
I wouldn't go that far, but I would put him below Kareem and probably Bill Russell. But when you watch this documentary, it just reminded me how great Jordan was and how big he is. Every room Jordan goes in, he's the alpha. He is the guy in the room. Allen Iverson talked about this when they did the All 75 team, that how the greats of the game, from Dr. J to Magic to Bird to AI to Melo to Dwayne Wade to, and it may have even been Dwayne Wade saying this, maybe not AI, but when Jordan walks in the room, you know it and you feel it. No one else has that effect. And to see the progression of Jordan's career in depth from his rookie year and to what he overcame, and then leaving the game after the murder of his father, and then coming back and still dominating after a year and a half away from the game. Yes, that is the 10-part documentary event. That's a few years old now. It's really nice to go back and rewatch and to understand his psyche, because he doesn't apologize for not being a nice guy. And when you think about what he was trying to accomplish in his career and being he never admits that he's the greatest of all time, but he really does say, I wanted to be on that level of Magic and Bird and those type of guys. So it's one of those things where it's really interesting to go back and rewatch. Obviously it's geared towards Jordan, and there's some controversial stuff in there as far as the Dream Team and Isaiah Thomas, and did he have an influence on that and all that, and they get into why he left or why he retired the first time. Was it a suspension for gambling debts and they just didn't want to come out and really say that? I don't think that had anything to do with it. So it's just, it goes in depth. And if you go back and rewatch it on what he overcame and how much he played, there was no load management back in the 90s. I think it's, without a doubt, you can't help but say he is the greatest that's ever laced them up on the basketball court when you go back and rewatch that. It's not an argument. And
let's what made him great is there was never a question about his heart, his work ethic, and his longingness to win and be great. But he wasn't a prima donna. He wasn't, like what we see with LeBron. LeBron, to me, is a crying prima donna. And like I said, his statue outside of the Lakers or Cleveland should be him laying down on the ground looking up at the ref. Like, why didn't you call that?
I think it should be
Because I
the
flopped.
one where he's jumping up and down, throwing a tantrum. I think it should be that.
Yeah, throwing a tantrum like a little kid who didn't get his G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip in Walmart. But that's the whole thing of what made Jordan so great, is because there was never a question. There was never controversy around his attitude toward the game. Even when he left to go play baseball, everybody's like, what are you doing? But his drive to be a winner, and ultimately that's why he left baseball, because he realized he didn't have the same type of skills.
Well,
they
hold on,
had to win championships or play at a high level. So
hold on.
Yes.
An interesting part of The Last Dance, it does talk about him in baseball, and the owner of the Chicago White Sox and Terry Francona, who was the manager of the Barons at the time. We know he's a World Series, champion manager now when he was with the Boston Red Sox. They all say, that was a lockout year when he left. And they tried to play with replacement players in '95. And he said, I'm not crossing the picket line. I'm not going to play a replacement player. So he left and he started going to Bulls practices in Chicago. And that kind of rekindled what he was ready to come back. The McConkey and Terry Francona both said if he would have been given 400 to 600 more at bats, he probably would have made it to the majors, which I thought was really interesting to say. And they said his work ethic, you mentioned it already, his work ethic is second to none in sports. He may have partied hard, You may have played cards, you may have gambled, you may have played a lot of golf, you may have smoked a cigar before the game, but nobody ever questioned him ever coming ready. And what's interesting about it is that Kobe had this viewpoint because of Michael Jordan, but I think it originated with Jordan, and he got it from the old school players. Was he knew it was his responsibility every night to be on the floor and play, and to be ready to play because there's someone who spent money on tickets, who saved their money to watch him play, and will probably never get to see him play again. I never got to see him play in person. And, I lived right down the road from the Mavericks, reunion arena. Never went to a game when he was playing. So that kind of stinks for me. But I saw him on TV all the time. But he understanding he had of his responsibility as a player, you don't see in today's NBA with load management and guys taking nights off and how many guys play 80, 82 games every year? Not many anymore. These guys knew the responsibility of this is my job. I'm playing a game. My job is to be there to perform for you. And I think today's athlete, like LeBron James says, no, you're here to see me. It's all about me. If I want to take a night off, it is what it is. Like, I don't have a responsibility to you as the fan anymore. So that hammered home in The Last Dance. So I know you haven't watched it in depth. Pops, I suggest you do it. It is a great 10-parter on, I think it's on Netflix right now. And so, yeah. The second one wanted to get into was Vince Carter's legacy. Now, Vince Carter, he's right here on my wall. He's my third favorite player of all time in the NBA. I'm not saying he's the third best of all time, just my favorite player. It's Jordan, Dirk, and then Vince. Half man, half amazing. Vince Carter, Air Canada. After watching the documentary on Vince Carter, I wanted to ask, was it a wasted career? Because the game came so easy to Vince Carter. Athletic. He is the only guy that I think athleticism is in the realm of Michael Jordan. That's the only guy in the history of NBA. His in-game dunking to me is second. I think his in-game dunking is actually probably better than Jordan. When you talk about just dunking the basketball in game. Was it a wasted career because he never won a championship, never got to a finals? What do you think? I mean, I know you weren't a big basketball guy when he was in the league, but I know you know of Vince Carter. Is a guy who played 22 years, did he have a wasted career?
Well, here's how I'm gonna put this: is that if it's a wasted career, then why is his jersey behind you on your wall? It's not a wasted career. He got to live the life, and he got to play the game. Now, did he ever win a championship?
Nope.
No.
Never even made it to the Eastern. I think he made it to the Eastern Conference Finals once, maybe.
So would we say, like, a guy like, I know it's not basketball, but a guy like Dan Marino was a wasted career because he didn't win a championship? Everybody knows his name.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Marino left the league as the all-time passing leader as well. Like, Vince Carter didn't leave the league as all-time greatest anything other than dunker.
Well, that's something to be remembered for, right? I mean, he was the guy who could light it up when he got to dunk the basketball. So I don't think it's a wasted career. I think that's relative. That's really in his mind. Does he feel like he accomplished what he needed to accomplish? Obviously, it's going to be without a championship, but I don't think it's a wasted career. I think your whole point of playing the game and people knowing your name and being one of the stars of the game, which he was. Then no. I mean, that's my final answer is no, it's not a wasted career.
So I tend to agree with you. I just wanted to ask the question, and I was hoping some folks would throw some comments in there. Quiet night in the comment section, by the way.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things where 22 years. I don't know if you could say playing 20. It was either 21 or 22 years in the league. Um, it wasn't a way. He was the face of the league at one point in the early 2000s. After that 2000 slam dunk contest, he not only put himself on the map, he put Toronto Raptors on the map. Toronto as a basketball franchise was only about 5 years old. I think they came in '95, only about 5 years old at the time, and they were a bad franchise, as most expansion franchises are. So ultimately, I mean, he inspired a lot of people, not only in Toronto but in Canada, because that was Canada's team. Like, I mean, Vancouver left pretty damn quickly to go to Memphis. So uh, you can't tell the story of the NBA without Vince Carter at some point. And that to me tells me it's not a wasted career. It to me, it might be a little bit of a disappointment because he is, outside of MJ, the most talented basketball player I've ever seen. He had more God-given talent than Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan. Go down your list. The talent was off the chain, and the game was so easy to him. I don't think he ever developed you the killer part of it. Like, it just, he never got the Kobe gene. If he would have had Kobe's killer mentality, I think he would be one of the greatest of all time. By the way, I had those shoes that he's wearing in that picture, just in blue. Um, but yeah, my third favorite player of all time to watch. And I thought it was interesting how they went through his transition from being a star and a starter after he left Orlando, going to the bench and accepting a reserve role, and how it was an adjustment for him. And then when he gets to Atlanta and Memphis after Dallas, really becoming a player coach essentially and mentoring these young guys. To me, and I don't know if you remember this, but he took a lot of criticism for leaving before the Eastern Conference Finals Game 7 to go to his college graduation. Like, he promised his mom that he would walk at his college graduation. And people said he missed the final shot because he wasn't at shoot around that morning, which is a bunch of bull hockey. To me, he is just one of the good dudes to ever play the game. And he's also, like I said, the second most talented basketball player I've ever seen. So, all right. I sent this in a message in the notes to you, and I didn't know if you were able to catch any of it. Apparently, you were watching softball. I was watching the British Open right before I came across this. But Sage Steele, one of my favorite sportscasters, interviewed Sam Ponder, one of her really good friends, who was dismissed from ESPN last year, almost a year. It was in August. Both of them left ESPN because of tweets and their views on world issues and sports issues. And I wanted to talk about it because, one, it is sports related, but it's a real interesting interview if you go watch it. Now, I haven't seen the last 45 minutes of it because I didn't get to see it, but I thought it was interesting that everyone dreams about going to ESPN. I remember when do you remember that reality show they had about becoming an ESPN anchor? Like that was a
Yes, I
big deal,
do.
being an ESPN
Well,
anchor, working there. And Sam Ponder talked about how getting to that level, she was like 25, 26 when she got there, or when she became on the major network. It was real interesting on how she talked about it, how it turned her into a negative person. Um, and how it wasn't all it's cracked up to be. And since she left, she said, I needed to, obviously you don't ever want to be fired from a job per se, but she also found her way back to faith, and found her way back to the church and God. So it was a real interesting perspective on listening to their conversation with Sage Steele and Sam Ponder, and they go into the loyalty of their friendship, and how when Sage Steele first got to ESPN, like the women at ESPN didn't help her at all. They saw her as competition, as a threat, and how toxic the workplace was, especially between the women at ESPN. It's a real interesting perspective that you don't ever see, because you don't see the off-camera stuff. You only see Sports Center and that type of thing. So it was a good reminder of, yeah, the paycheck was, they didn't make any qualms. It was nice money, but it was like it's not all it's cracked up to be, working there. So I think that's an important message, where you think you want to be somewhere, you get there, you have some success, and it's just, and they said it was constant stress, and you're always in go mode, and you don't have time. When people reach out to you, it's always because they want something, because you're on TV. And it was actually a really emotional conversation between those two, because they're real friends. They reminded me of, like, me and Damien, for those who know, my best man at my wedding. And it was a real unique dynamic. And so it's definitely worth the watch. It's about a 2-hour conversation. I'm gonna watch the last 45 minutes tomorrow. Um, so, but they let Sam Ponder go because of the Leah Thomas situation, of that dude swimming with the women, and all she wanted was the women on the team at Penn to be able to say their piece, and ESPN was suppressing that, and they didn't want it. They're like, not doing this. And and they go a little more in depth into, you know the, the how ESPN didn't even want to have the debate or have the conversation. It was, no, we're going to pump this out here. And then she felt like the last straw for her was when, at the ESPYs, or Women's History Month, they gave the Women's History Achievement Award to Leah Thomas. And it just, so
well, it's to me what it is it's unfortunate that society now is it's extremes, either one way or the other.
yeah,
When I was growing up, even when you were growing up, people could think differently, have different opinions. And that was okay because there wasn't this social media, this connectedness of 24 hours a day of people who really, you don't, all it takes is a keyboard. The person doesn't necessarily have to be a smart person. The person doesn't necessarily have to be a astute person.
yeah,
But they get behind a keyboard, and enough of them get behind a keyboard, and now you've got a group opinion of something, whether it's right or wrong. Whether it's and the problem is that, to me, we've gone to the point of everything is extreme, and sports is not exempt from that. It's just like we were talking about the guy getting crap for his jokes or whatever. If you hadn't watched the ESPYs back in the day, you wouldn't even know what people are really talking about, and it wouldn't have been a big deal.
right.
But now because everything is streaming here, streaming there, it's live or whatever. People probably in the mountains in Afghanistan probably know about that story because it's like I don't know who Sean is, but he's an asshole. You know, but that's just how it is nowadays.
Yeah,
So
it's it's one of those things where I thought it was real interesting that Sam Ponder and Sage Steele, they are pioneers in their industry. They worked in a male dominated industry for so many years, and Sam Ponder talks about Sage being the first one having the courage to step out and take the hit and have the courage to say that this is wrong, and it cost her a job, and ultimately Sam Ponder, she said she didn't have the courage. Like, she would push the envelope a little bit, but then she would always revert back. Like, nah, I'm just gonna go with the flow. Like, she says she regrets not standing up sooner, because she talks about for Women's History Month, they wanted her to pick a woman who is influenced or she thinks is courageous. And her first thought was, I want to pick Riley Gaines. And, but she's like, I don't think they're going to go for it. So she just picked her mom. Um, and so, but she's like, as a journalist, as a sports person, I see the value in platforming Riley Gaines at that time. And so, and telling about her struggle and, and women at Penn University dealing with a dude in the locker room and all that stuff. So, I think it was a great message to when you don't, and when you don't worry, when you step out and have the courage to do the right thing and say the right thing and say, no, this is wrong. Um, and just be willing to have the conversation in situations in sports. And that's why we're talking about it, because it is sports related. I'm just not going to go off into politic land or anything like that. Is you got to have this thing. And what's crazy is Sam Ponder talked about there was executives at ESPN behind closed doors off the record saying, we agree with you. There's just a big activist group here at Disney that we have to bow down to right now. And they weren't happy with the things you tweeted and you favorite. Like, she got fired for a favorited tweet, by one of the girls at Penn University that was on the team. So it's real interesting. The social media aspect, the connectivity, and how you can be held accountable for quote unquote your social media preferences, I guess.
well, it's not just that, but I'm also going to remind you, she's not the first. Michelle Tafoya was one of the first to be let go from a sideline reporter because she spoke her mind about what she thought. And that to me is just sad, is that if you can't be who you are, then you're just part of what I call the superficial America. And that's the book I'm writing, America the Superficial, because everybody, just like you're saying, there were people behind the scenes saying, we agree with you. But because we got to look like we don't, and we got to look a certain way, which is completely superficial
Right.
and filtered, that these things happen. So I just wanted to throw Michelle Tafoya in there because she's been she was great on the sideline. She's one of the few sideline reporters I could actually watch because she was smart and she knew what she was talking about.
Well, and
So,
there's not only executives, but there's ESPN personalities that told her that as well and said, but I can't lose my job. Like, I have to support my
yeah.
family with it, so I can't step out. It was like, I remember when Dan Orlovsky, who not a huge fan of, but he wouldn't come out. He tweeted something and then deleted the tweet because it didn't jive with the quote unquote trans movement on those type of things. So I think ultimately, uh, if you don't have the courage to stand up with what you think is right because you're worried about a paycheck, you can't be who you are meant to be in that profession. And Sam Ponder talks about the superficialness of, and you add being a woman being on camera, and they kind of go into aging and the pressures on that, and then you get this young hot girl out of college who can take your spot because she looks better and is articulate versus there's a lot of interesting dynamics to the Sage Steele Sam Ponder conversation on the Sage Steele podcast show, and it's definitely worth a look. So all right, let's move on.
I mean, I know you're going to move on, but I'm just going to say that the people should be able to talk about everything and it be okay. It should not, and that's why it's always now if everybody says they're taking sides or whatever, it's not taking. We got to get back to just having a different opinion, talking it out, and find a middle ground, man. We got to find middle ground again.
Well, I mean, if we're getting all serious, I guess middle ground is lost in today's world, and people forget we actually have more in common than we have differences most of the time. There are certain things we experience differently from different cultures, different races, different fluency levels, but for the most part, when I was growing up, most kids had Pogs and know what Pogs are. Most kids played N64. Most kids, depending on where you're at small town Texas, you probably rode in the back of the truck and went to the lake and had a kid blow off his finger from a firework at some point. You have similar experiences in life generally, no matter where you're at, and especially generationally. I guarantee you most of your Gen Xers have similar experiences to you growing up in the 70s and 80s. So there are middle grounds to be had. The problem is people just get all up in their emotions all the time. And it's unfortunate in life. So
so I will just share one last thought. Because I had a guy, obviously I've been looking for a new gig on my professional side, and I had someone ask me a question that has stuck with me. He said, in all your years of experience and all of being around people, what have you learned the most about people? And I said, and I truly believe this, that deep down, everybody is just trying to do the right thing. And unfortunately, based on environment, situation, and things, people get skewed from doing the right thing. But deep down, and I know this probably goes back to the Diary of Anne Frank, because I think she says it in there, that after all they went through, that she still thinks deep down that people are good. And I believe that. I think deep down, everybody is just trying to do the right thing. It's just unfortunate we have all this superficial bullshit around us.
Period. All right. Major League Baseball All-Star Game. All right.
Speaking of superficial bullshit.
Yeah. I didn't watch a single second of it. I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch the Home Run Derby. I watched more of the All-Star Celebrity Softball game than I did of the All-Star game. And that was about 37 seconds of that. But I did see the highlights on how it finished. Swing off. You pick so many guys from your team, you get 3 swings. You can take as many pitches as you want, but 3 swings, the most home runs wins. Do you like that ending?
Is it a baseball game?
Yes, it's the Major League All-Star game. Major League Baseball.
I'm just saying it's not part of the game. It's stupid. It's just play a damn game.
Well, you got to understand the premise of why they put this in, because I think twice both sides ran out of pitchers at one point. Like throughout All-Star history, the teams literally ran out of pitchers because you can't sub anyone back in, and no pitcher pitches more than an inning or two at most. And so they put this in to see if the game ends in a tie at 9 innings, the game isn't going on, and you're out of pitchers for the team. So I think it's actually a smart thing for an all-star game. I don't ever want to see it to settle a regular season game. That's dumb. But the all-star game, I think it is fitting because you have the home run derby. You kind of have that mixed into all-star weekend. It kind of adds a little bit of drama. And this is the first time we've ever seen it. So I actually liked it that they ended it that way. I did not like that they gave Schwarber the MVP, who didn't even have a hit during the all-star game. He just had those 3 home runs in his 3 swings to win it for the National League. So, but I do like the premise of it because you don't want that game going forever. You're running out of pitchers and people to play and put on the mound. It just makes sense. I liked it.
Well, how about they add some more pitchers to the roster if that's such an issue? It's supposed to be a baseball game,
It's
not a freaking
an all-star
softball game.
It's an all-star
I
game.
understand that, but do they or do they not still determine who gets home field advantage in the series?
I don't know. You're gonna have to Google that one because I thought they did away with it.
I think it's still a thing, but I'll look it up.
I think it's a fun kind of way to end it. You give both teams the same opportunities. The manager picks those guys before the game starts. I like it. It ends it. It's not dragging out, and you're not playing subpar baseball with it. So.
Oh yeah, they did replace it, so I guess that's not a deal anymore.
There you go. So.
Well, that didn't last long.
No, it lasted a little while. All right, we're gonna get to NBA and J Kidd, and then Sir George. So we're coming towards the end, folks.
I think we need another commercial.
All right, go ahead. Now that Recognized Game shared added their followers, let's hit them with a commercial while they tune in.
Are you tired of paying hundreds of dollars for assessments that only work for one client or one session? What if you could create your own custom assessments tailored to your coaching style and your client's needs without breaking the bank? With Easy App AI, you can. No coding required. You can build assessments that are specific to your coaching programs, track your client's progress, and gather the data you need to drive meaningful results, all for a fraction of what you'd normally spend on third-party tools.
Have a book you have written and want to make an assessment to go with your book? You can have one in 15 minutes with this amazing AI. Seriously, if you can think it, you can build it into an app for pennies. Why pay for assessments when you can create your own? With Easy App AI, the power to design, customize, and deploy assessments is right at your fingertips.
Take control, save money, and elevate your coaching business with ease. Look, most people use AI to just write and really only scratch the surface of its power like it's some new toy. But if you get in the game and be proactive about your skills, you will have hundreds, if not thousands, of new ways to grow your business.
You can even start building your first app for free. We have a free plan for you to start with. Ready to start? Visit easyappai.com and create your first assessment today. The future of coaching is here. You just have to want it more.
All right, there you go. Check out easyappai.com.
You got to make shorter commercials, man.
That was 30 seconds. You
like
need to grow some patience. You need to make like a hospital and get some patience.
Oh my God. I don't go to hospitals. All my exes work there.
All right, so what's next?
Damian Lillard. Our man D. Lil going back to Portland. What a stupid thing on his part. Go to a contender, dude. What are you doing, Damian Lillard? I think it's a dumb move on his part. What do you think? Recognized Game, you're watching now. You just shared. You chime in because I know y'all like basketball better than the bald-headed guy next to me. But anyways, Damian Lillard. Portland, mistake. That's my thought.
You think it's a mistake?
Yeah. He's 34, 35 years old. Go try to get a ring. He's not winning a ring in Portland.
Since when do you think these basketball players, of any of them, care about winning a ring anymore? Give me a name of someone in the league right now you think is focused on winning a ring.
Giannis, Jason Tatum, Steph. I think Steph Curry still wants to win a ring. Halliburton, and I think the Knicks want to win a ring. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to win rings. If you just, there you go, Knicks, Brunson, right there. I think, maybe he's come to the conclusion that he's just going to finish out next year and retire coming off his injury. Maybe he wants to be done and just finish at home, like our guys at Recognized Game mentioned. He missed his kids. I guess he didn't move his kids out of Portland. It's not a bad thing. I totally get that. I'm not going to knock the guy for that. I just think he should have went somewhere to try to be a contributor to a championship run. So, but it's unfortunate because kind of like we talked about Vince Carter earlier, was Vince's career wasted? Was Damian Lillard's career wasted? He had moments in Portland. He was loyal. I love his loyalty. He tried to go to Milwaukee to win one with Giannis. It didn't work out. He's going to be one of those guys on the list of great guys that never won one. And that's unfortunate to say because he's not winning one in Portland.
Nope. So. But I just think it's the state of the NBA. I mean, you named quite a few people, but I think you basically can field one team with the people who you can name off the top of your head that want to win a ring by their play and by how hard they work. It's basically one team that you could field.
I think generally every player in the league wants to win a ring. That's why now I will say,
not according to LeBron.
But no one gives a shit about LeBron and his opinion on why
LeBron says that why is everybody on us about always getting a ring?
Well,
why don't they just let us be?
That's because he's upset that he's not, big dog. He's not Jordan. He's not the greatest of all time. And a lot of people, we already went over this in the show. So,
not even top 5 in my book.
So, so you had Lillard to Portland, then you had Bradley Beal get the buyout from Phoenix. He went to the Clippers, the geriatric Clippers. If they're healthy, their top 5 guys are, 10 years ago, really scary. I just think they're old and decrepit, and I don't think they stay healthy enough, and I don't see that working out to come out of the West. I think Bradley Beal should have went to a team where he could have been the 6th man and just been a guy who lights it up and ultimately had a chance to win. The Clippers have a chance. It's probably a 1% chance, but I don't see that working out. James Harden had a great renaissance year last year. Still doesn't play defense, but he had a great offensive year last year. I think he's going to go back to regressing. Kawhi's skills, are diminishing ultimately. So, that team for the Clippers in 2 years are all going to be in nursing homes. So, Brooke Lopez, I think, is old enough to be my dad, basically. So, but
there you go. That's pretty old. I know your dad.
All right. Well, I think he's done eating enchiladas. So I'm gonna go get Coach J Kidd for the viewing pleasure of the folks. So
Oh, well, I guess that leaves me here. So, with that, I guess the big thing about the Mavericks going in this year, and I will obviously ask Jay Kidd as he comes in, is you got Coop. He's actually been lighting it up in summer basketball. I know Casey thinks I don't watch, but I did. And I've been kind of keeping an eye on some of the summer ball a little bit. But he did set out the last one I watched. They're playing Philadelphia in the Vegas games that they were playing. And there he is. It's been a while since Mr. Kidd, Mr. Coach Kidd, Jay Kidd has been on the show. So let's just lead it off there, Coach. Coop. The Coop has flown into the coop of the Mavericks.
yeah,
So, what are your feelings and thoughts about him joining the Mavericks at that number one pick?
yeah. I like Cooper Flag, and I just wanted to remember or remind everyone. I wore my shirt today to remind everyone I am a basketball coach. Just to let everyone know I didn't.
Is that for everybody else, or is that for you? Just so you don't forget.
No, that's for everyone else. I wake up every morning with a note on my mirror in the bathroom that tells me I'm a basketball coach. So,
Well, that's better than waking up with something else. So there you go.
Well, I do wake up with a never mind. I'm not going to get into that. You mentioned Cooper Flag. A great move by our GM Nico. We said from day one we were on the same team, even though last time I was on the show I said I did not endorse his plan, but I do endorse his plan. So ultimately,
so all is forgiven.
At least for me, I'm just a basketball coach, and to add the spaghetti noodle of Cooper Flag to my dish of creating a playbook is like it's like getting a whole new meat sauce and being so delicious. The players are going to be scrumptious.
So some new spaghetti noodle to go on the plate. Okay, well, so the Luca was kind of like chicken parmesan. It's gone. It's out. Now it's spaghetti noodle.
Luca was like the fat you trim off the chicken parm before you cook the chicken parm. Now I have seen Luca starting to look a little bit shredded in some pictures lately, and if he would have did that when he was with us, he would have never been traded. So yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but I will say Cooper Flag, since he got in the building, I mean, he is young enough to be my son, and I think I'm gonna adopt him. I'm gonna talk to his parents and officially name him Cooper Kidd.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can adopt somebody after they've become an adult like that. How old is he now?
Well, he's 18. He'll turn 19 in, December, which is a great month because that's when Christmas is. And Christmas is my favorite holiday because I get presents like shirts that remind me of my profession.
Okay, well, are you going to be wearing a sweater that says you're a coach then during Christmas?
No need to wear a sweater because it's July and there's no reason.
I meant during Christmas.
Well, it depends where we're at Christmas. I think we're at home this year on Christmas Day, or we may not even be playing next year on Christmas Day because of the Luka trade. But I will say, I love chocolate covered donuts.
What donuts? You just went, wow. Okay, that was
yes.
Wow. Oh, okay, so you like frosted donuts. That's interesting. And very weird. But okay. Coach, so there was a little turmoil this year. Talk about trading you to another team as a coach. Was that stuff true, or how did you feel about it when you heard all that? And could you put your spaghetti or your frosty donut down to think about it long enough?
Well, the rumor was to the New York Knicks. So if you're going to make accusations of the inappropriate nature, you better get your facts straight. I would have loved to coach Jalen Brunson and that crew. I think Tom Thibodeau did a great job of not getting the job done. And I feel like I would have been the missing piece to get New York Knicks to a championship. But once we got the number one pick, and once Nico actually committed to taking Cooper Flag, because there was rumors he was going to trade it for like I don't know some guy named I don't know, it was some French kid. I can't remember his name. I think his last name was Baguette or something like that. But once he decided not to trade for a bag of bread, I was on board with the Dallas Mavericks, and I was like, I can definitely whip up some more spaghetti noodle playbooks, and we can go to war. I'm actually thinking about, since Pop is out of the game, he's not coaching San Antonio anymore, the great Popovich. I'm thinking about asking him if I can use his trademark popcorn and magnet method, because I think that would be more conducive to not wearing a kid's bib while I make plays.
Okay, everything you just said makes no sense, but okay. The spaghetti part of it, do I detect you have a little Italian part of you, or is it just you like the noodles? You like having a weak noodle?
Now, I don't have a weak noodle. My wife never said that.
A floppy noodle, I should say.
No floppy noodle here. We are a very satisfied couple.
Spaghetti is a floppy noodle.
No,
Once you cook it starts off very stiff, but then it becomes a floppy noodle.
I mean, that happens to every man when they
Well, that's
cooking
what I'm
noodles.
saying. The spaghetti noodle really, in to your credit, resembles life. It starts
All
off
right.
as a
Listen, sir,
so
this happens every time I'm on the show. Yeah, I don't really like the tone that you're taking and what you're insinuating, because you said my wife's a whore, and I don't appreciate that. So
no one said
I'm
that.
going to end this.
No one said that. No one said that. I just said life is like a spaghetti noodle. It's very before you cook it, it's very stiff, and then it becomes a very loose noodle. That's all I was saying there. So yeah, very interesting to talk to J Kidd and learn a little bit about his philosophy. If we learned any damn thing at all, except to be confused.
Hey,
It's
what did you
is
do?
he in the
You pissed
bathroom
him
now?
off.
Is he shedding the enchiladas?
No, he's pissed off because he was saying you called his wife a whore or something like that. That was very rude of you.
Look at the tape. No one called his wife anything. I think he might be starting to lose his hearing based on being around that arena.
Wow.
So,
All right.
but yeah, that was just a little goofy.
Always entertaining, Jake Kidd. Was he getting into spaghetti again? Is that what he was getting into?
Well, it's like I said, spaghetti is like life. It starts off very hard and then goes through a lot of heat, and then it becomes just a very loose noodle. A very weak, very floppy noodle.
Words of wisdom from the bald-headed wise man. Life starts out hard like pasta and becomes limp as you get older.
I didn't say limp. It just becomes floppy.
Not good advice, ladies and gentlemen, at all. All right, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, Is this the beginning of the end for OKC? They're starting to have to pay guys. They extend SGA, they extend Williams, they extend Chet Holmgren. Hopefully, in that contract, they've agreed to force feed him bacon grease and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because Chet Holmgren needs to eat something. Good Lord. Give that man some food, some steak. Take him to Perry's Steakhouse every night and give him the pork chop. Do something. But is this beginning of the end with Oklahoma City Thunder? Do you think so?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why don't you think it's the end?
Because I think they have an organization that each year, depending on how the chess pieces are arranged, they seem to do pretty good. And I think keeping just a few of those folks together are going to continue to be provide that nucleus of what they've started to put together this year. I mean, obviously, they lit it up. They were one of the best teams out there. And I think, yes, the players are a big part of that, but the organization as a whole, a lot of people forget about that part of it. And I think I like the way OKC is run. And especially for the, comparatively speaking, the smaller market that it's in. I think OKC is actually a pretty good run franchise. So no, I think they kind of know what they're doing there. That's just my opinion, though.
When you start paying people, I said this with the NFL teams as well. You got to start making decisions. Now, here's where OKC is different than most, and this is where I would agree with you. And I was wondering if you're going to bring this up or not. In 2026 and 2027, they have 6 first-round picks. 6. Now, we know first rounders are 50-50 at best, working out in the league. But really, with those picks, all you need to do is replenish your role players. You're not looking for a franchise guy with those picks. And your own picks, which they only own their first rounder next year, then they have Phillies, but it's protected 1 through 4. Then they have Utah's protected 1 through 8. So they could lose those picks if Utah and Philly get those particular picks. And then Denver in 2027 protected 1 through 5, and then San Antonio's protected 1 through 16. Most of these teams are going to be better and probably not in the running for those picks. Even though I think Philly has a chance to get picked 1 through 4, and Utah has it. I don't know if they'll have 3 picks next year in the first round, is what I'm saying. So I do think they have the potential to keep it going long term. If they get 4 out of these 6 picks total, but ultimately, when you start paying guys, you got to start letting some of those key role players go, those second and third tier guys go, and you never know who's going to actually step into those roles. So I think they're set up properly to keep this going for a while, but it's always dangerous when you start playing. And the Chet Holmgren thing, he's not a $50 million a year guy. I don't understand why they extended him to the full rookie max. It's just, to me, ridiculous. He's not that guy. And he's been hurt a lot since he came into the league. I don't know. I don't like it.
Well, I think that to me, it goes back to what goes on behind the scenes and part of the organization. There's obviously a feeling there that he's worth it. Because I don't see Oklahoma as being one of those teams who just throw money at people and hope it works. I think they're pretty good about their evaluation process and coming up with what they should spend on somebody. So I'm not totally. I mean, I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing.
But someone get that man a steak, please. Watching Chet Holmgren is the most painful basketball I've ever watched in my life. Okay, he is. I'm afraid he's going to break in half when he's running down the court. He is 7 foot, 123 pounds. I don't get it. Like, people say Shaq wouldn't survive in this game. Are you shitting me? In today's game, Chet Holmgren trying to guard Shaq. Get the hell out of here. So, hey, genetic bracelets. No one wants your cheap viewers on Streambo. Stop commenting, you jerk. I have a feeling you're probably about to get blocked. Anyways, yeah, that's the last NBA story I had. The last one we got was Sir George at Buckingham Palace.
Oh, well, is that who's making noise behind me? Oh, crap.
Apparently. Get off this. Go get him, pretty please. Sir George. Been a while since Sir George's been on. So, yeah, Sir George. Me and Linda went to London on our last stop, our honeymoon. Love London. Love the pub culture. Man, it was an absolute blast. Went to London, especially after going to Paris. Paris sucks. Don't go to Paris. People there suck. I shouldn't say Paris sucks. The city was actually not too bad. But, yeah, not a huge fan of the Parisian people. They really are that freaking rude. Just going to be honest. Ultimately, went to Buckingham Palace, saw some of the King's Guard there, and I could have swore we saw Sir George. He's going to clear that up once he comes onto the show. He's taking his sweet ass time right now. Oh, there he is.
Talking about, this, you've got to remember, I'm trying to. It's a long ride over here just to be on here for a few fucking minutes. So just give me a fucking minute to get dressed, all right? It's
Sir George.
I want to look good. I have to. Do you know how much fucking hairspray goes into this thing?
That's a hat.
Oh my God.
What are you talking about?
It has to have hairspray to stay up because when I come to this bloody humidity hell of Houston, it's everything. My hat wants to go just like that, just like you was talking about the spaghetti noodle. It goes, whoop, and then the next thing you know, I look like a bad Elvis impersonator or something, some bullshit like that. So, but the question you have is whether I saw you in London. Well, bloody hell, I did. I saw you, and you didn't even notice me. That's what drives me crazy because you and your lovely wife, oh my God, you somehow out of your league, my friend. She's beautiful, and I don't know what happened there that she saw something in your ugly ass, but
thanks.
But yes,
why the hostility, George?
When you were standing, I think you guys were on the street looking in front of Big Ben or somewhere. I stood in your picture and you didn't even notice me. I have the picture.
I think you're talking bullshit right now.
Who's that? Who is that right there? I mean, in all my glory, I see you there, and you're taking a picture, and I'm like, okay, that's Casey. That's Casey and Linda. And bloody hell, you walk off, don't say a damn thing to me. I mean, I'm the guy in the bright yellow cycling suit. And if you look over here, you see this black car that's behind you?
Yeah, that's the taxi.
No, that's the king. What people don't know is we were heading out to the park to go ride, and he actually does this in secret. And I probably shouldn't be telling you. British intelligence and James fucking Bond will probably be on my ass about this, but but the king leaves every now and then. It's the only way he can get a little privacy, and that's why I was up there and I saw you and I jumped in your picture. There I am.
Well, why didn't you say hello then?
I tried. I said,
No,
hey,
you
mate.
didn't say a damn word.
You was too busy being all lovey-dovey, being all oh honey bunny and all that sort of stuff like that, or your new lovely bride on your honeymoon, and then I didn't want to necessarily mess with that because, you know, first off, you're on your honeymoon, and I have a tendency to talk a little loud and you know, so there you have it. But I look good in that picture, don't I? I mean, it's. I think, you know, a lot of people say pictures make you look fat. That one actually makes me look very nice in that one.
I'm not going to argue there. I feel like you may have doctored that picture a little bit.
No, I don't think I doctored that picture. That's straight. This I got this off your Facebook.
No, you didn't. That was you in uniform right in front of me right here.
I don't know if that's.
Look at the stomach touching out. The hat's crooked.
That
Sure
could
that wasn't
possibly be me. That's, you know, obviously, you can see the difference of what happens to my hat when I come to Texas. See, in London, my hat is fully filled out. My hat looks good. I don't require a lot of hairspray. But now here, it's like it's bloody skinny. That's my bike riding hat right there. That's what that is, and that's, you know, so it's a little bit skinnier. So that's my bike riding hat.
Oh, good Lord. Well, Sir George, since you missed us, you know what you've been up to other than guarding the king. It's been a while since you've been on the show. Did you go on a little holiday at all? Have you traveled? Have you done anything interesting other than take the King Charles to the park?
Well, I did take a little trip. I went to India, you know, and I had a little bit of fun in India, but I went over there and I don't know if you know, you have a following in India. There's people there because I showed up and of course I'm wearing my hat and everything and a guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, so George, you're the Sir George." And I'm like, "Oh, yes, I am George." And he's like, "Well, I love you on the show. I really do. I think you're amazing, and I want to invite you into my restaurant." And so I'm like, "All right, I'll go in." And oh my God, what is he? These people eat the hottest shit I've ever ate. I mean, I've come to Texas and ate your Mexican food, and it's extremely hot. But Indian people, what? It's no wonder this. I don't know. Do they stock up on toilet paper? What do they do? They use a bidet?
They must do something.
What? Yeah, it's ridiculous. They
By the
bought me
way,
something.
Sir
What?
George, I had the fish and chips. It was solid. I did love the sausage and mash. That was pretty good. There was a.
Did you see that we all hang out by our pubs?
I did
at
see
night?
that, and I love that. You couldn't trust people here in the States with that. Like we'd
Right.
be too stupid with it. But I will say the pub culture is real there. Absolutely loved it over there. So next time we will have to have dinner, and you can show me to what pub you hang out at after you get off duty. Said duty. Anyways, but yeah. But appreciate you jumping in the
All right.
picture there, even though we apparently were too lovey-dovey, and thank you for the compliments on the wife. So,
Yes.
but you know, season 2 of Dallas Cowboys is coming up here pretty soon. Hopefully, it's a better season of you watching the Cowboys I know last year was a little bit of a struggle for you being introduced to American football. Hopefully there's a better product, but I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions on the Dallas Cowboys and the NFL as a whole. I think there's a couple games in London next year.
Well, yes, there is, and they need to put a team here in London, so then I can have a football team that I can actually root for, instead of you making me watch these bloody Cowboys with this bloody bullshit. We think they're going to be great, and then they find a way to just suck your heart out of your chest. It's like it's I don't even know how to describe it. So, but well, all right. I've got to get on a plane back. So, like I said, you have the picture. You know it was me. So I was there, and we will catch you next time.
All right. All right, folks. Sir George, been a while since we've had him on. He was there in London. Unfortunately, we did not link up. He photobombed us. Can you believe that shit? But yes, next week we'll be on 7 p.m. All right, on Thursday, live as always. We'll have a new whiskey of the week. Be interesting to see what the sports world hands us in the next 7 days for the show. So that'll be always an interesting world. Sports world always gives us things. I think training camps are starting here pretty soon. The Open, I think, is being played in Scotland this year. But the Open is going on right now, so I'm sure we'll talk about who wins the Open. I think Scotty Scheffler is 3 under right now. I know he's not the low round. I think the low round was 4 under today at the Open. So, but
well, yeah, it's about time we're going to end. But let me just put a shout out to the Indiana Fever and the WNBA. They are moving up and playing well. They're above 500. They weren't looking that good, but I think the Indiana Fever and the WNBA is actually something.
Right, you might as well just put them on
team.
your background. Like the Indiana Fever right now are your wet dream. You should just put them on your background.
Why can't I root for a team? See, why we got to go there? Why can't I just root for them because I think they're good?
3 weeks ago, you gave 2 shits about the WNBA, and now all of a sudden you're like, "Ooh, the Indiana Fever." Like
that's because we needed a hero on that team, and Cunningham is the hero. Now, Caitlin came back. I think she won an ESPY last night.
She probably did, and she also hurt her groin again in the last game, and she's also becoming a whiny jerk on the court when it comes to referees. So you might want to be careful she's not becoming a diva. She starts becoming LeBron, you're not going to like it.
Have you seen them play a game and what gets done to them? They literally it's like I said, it's like a WWE. They get thrown onto the floor and the refs just look at them like, oh, well, sorry. You're Caitlin, so we let it happen.
Well, I think what you need to do is you need to watch different WNBA games, not just the Indiana Fever, and compare to see if it's happening to other teams as well.
You do realize that they do play another team, right? So
what I'm saying is see 2 teams that Caitlin Clark is not involved in and see if it's the same. That's the only way you can do proper research here. Because right now you got a slanted view through your Sophie Cunningham goggles of love.
I just want to kiss on top of my head, Sophie. That's
all
a
lot of men do from her. So probably a lot of women too.
Whoa. Easy.
What? It's 2020.
Well, there you go. On that note, I think we are going to end it. So,
well, back next week, 7 p.m. The self-proclaimed greatest father and son duo will be back.
I think we might have Bill Belichick on next week too. So
Belichick. All right, it's been a while since the impromptu interview. Belichick. Who knows? Maybe Jerry. Maybe Boach. We haven't had B Boach in a while. It was probably post All-Star time to interview good old manager B Boach. So we'll probably have him on next week. We'll give him a holler. But folks,
All right then.
for all my former teaching colleagues, enjoy your last couple of weeks of freedom before you got to go back. For those who don't know, I did give it up. So I'm going to miss
All right.
a lot of folks in the professions. But
all right.
All right. All right. All right.
Tired of talking about spaghetti and wet noodles.
I'm never mind. You're my dad. I'm not gonna say it. I love you too much to insult you that much.
I love you too, honey bunny.
See what he does. He forces me to be mean to him. That's what he does. It's like a glutton for punishment. All right, y'all. Peace. We're out of here.
Peace out.